The market's been a mixed bag today, huh? Let's jump right in. We're going to break down some of the biggest movers from significant order wins to, some not so great news. Ready to dive into what happened on March 3rd?
Absolutely. It's always interesting to see which way the wind blows, and today was no exception. We'll be covering the big stories and how they affected some key stocks.
All right, first up, we've got that company that secured those massive orders, like 2,500, 5,000 crore rupees worth in power transmission and distribution. Who was that again?
That would be, a company that's making some serious moves. These orders include some big domestic projects like 765 kV and 400 kV transmission lines up in Uttar Pradesh and down south, plus international projects like a 380 kV GIS substation in Saudi Arabia and a grid station in Abu Dhabi.
Wow, that's a lot of action. So how did the market react?
Well, their shares closed up 1.09% at 3,198.20 rupees. I mean, hitting a high of 3,227.00 rupees is pretty solid. Securing those orders really boosted investor confidence.
Makes sense. Okay, switching gears, what about Granules India? I saw something about them.
Yeah, Granule India had a bit of a mixed day. LIC increased its stake to 5.02%, acquiring about 17.83 lakh shares, which is a good sign. But they also received a US FDA warning letter for their Gadgetapult facility.
Oh no, that's never good news. How did that affect their profit?
Their Q3 net profit actually fell 6.4% year on year with a slight revenue decline. So shares closed up actually 1.99% at 471 rupees. Seems like the LIC stake increase outweighed the FDA concerns for now.
Interesting. Okay, let's talk pharma. What's happening with AstraZeneca Pharma?
AstraZeneca got some good news. CDSCO approved Imfinzi for treating unresectable hepatocellular carcinoma in India. This approval means they can now offer combination therapy with tremelimumab for advanced liver cancer.
That sounds like a major step forward. So did their stock reflect this?
Absolutely. Their shares gained up to 3%, hitting a high of 6,890.35 rupees on NSE. It's like a significant advancement in their oncology portfolio, pending those final statutory approvals.
Nice. Now, what about the auto sector? I saw TVS Motor Company was doing something.
TVS is on the move. Their February sales rose 10% to 403,976 units, and exports are up 26%. Plus, their electric vehicle sales grew by 34%.
Wow, that's impressive growth. Anything else going on with them?
Yeah, well, they'd agreed to invest 2,000 crore rupees in Karnataka over the next 5 years. That's a serious commitment.
Definitely. How did all this news affect their stock?
Shares closed up 4.42% at 2,523.85 rupees actually, hitting a high of 2,535.00 rupees. So investors are definitely seeing potential there.
All right, so switching gears completely, I saw something about UltraTech Cement expanding into cables and wires.
Right. UltraTech is branching out. They announced an expansion into the cables and wires segment, targeting full capacity by FY31. It's like they're trying to leverage synergies with their existing construction materials business.
That's a pretty big move. What's the financial outlook on that?
They don't expect any additional capex in C&W until FY31, and a brokerage even set a 13,700 rupee price target. But, disclaimer, we advised investors to check with certified experts before taking any investment decisions.
Always good to remember that. So, how did the market react to this news?
Shares closed up 2.17% at 10,548.00 rupees. Investors seem cautiously optimistic about the diversification.
So, what does this mean for existing players like Polycab and KEI Industries?
Well, that's where it gets interesting. Brokerages actually cut Polycab's target to 7,700 rupees slash 6,485 rupees and KEI to 5,000 rupees due to UltraTech's entry. The concern is that UltraTech's 1,800 crore rupees investment is going to increase competition.
That makes sense. More competition usually means some pressure. How did those stocks fare today?
Polycab shares actually closed up 3.54% at 4,870.85 rupees, and KEI was up 1.85% at 3,126.95 rupees. So they seem to be holding their own for now, despite the potential future headwinds. Polycab is still expected to see robust growth for FY25-27.
That's good news for them. So let's move on to real estate. I saw Prestige Estates was up.
Right. Realty stocks recovered a bit today with the Nifty Realty Index up 1.5%. Prestige Estates offset some losses from that income tax search announcement last week.
Okay, so it's kind of bouncing back.
Exactly. Their shares rose 4.65% to 1,179 rupees, actually hitting a high of 1,200 rupees. Godrej Properties and DLF also gained. It's like a sign of resilience in the sector.
All right, let's talk about Coal India. I heard their production numbers weren't great.
Yeah, February production dropped 0.8% to 74.1 MT. To meet their annual target, they need to produce 142 MT in March. That's a big ask.
Definitely a tight squeeze. So how did the market react to this news?
Shares closed down 2.57% at 360.60 rupees, hitting a low of 352.40 rupees. Investors are clearly concerned about their ability to meet that target and the potential earnings pressure.
Okay, moving on. I saw Indian Overseas Bank got hit with a GST demand notice.
Right, they received a 699.52 crore rupees GST demand notice for AY2 2020-21, but they're challenging it legally. They also secured a 1,559.29 crore rupees income tax refund, which is a nice offset.
A bit of a roller coaster then. What was the market's take on it?
Well, their shares fell to a 52-week low of 41.01 rupees, down 4.23%. The GST notice seems to have spooked investors despite the tax refund.
Makes sense. What about Angel One? I saw they were down quite a bit.
Angel One and other capital market stocks declined amid global trade and outflow concerns. Angel One saw a 17% drop over 6 sessions, and the BSE benchmark index is down nearly 15% from its September peak.
That sounds rough. So what was the damage today?
Their shares closed at 1,979 rupees, down a significant 8.77%, hitting a low of 1,952.25 rupees. It's like the market is really sensitive to those global economic worries right now.
Definitely. Okay, last one, Bajaj Auto. What's going on with them?
Bajaj Auto's domestic two-wheeler sales fell 14% in February. Exports rose, but total domestic sales were still down 11%. They were the top loser in the BSE Auto Index.
So not a great day for them then.
No, not really. Their shares closed at 7,700.00 rupees, down 2.44%, hitting a 52-week low. It's like they're getting hit by both declining domestic sales and broader market trends.
All right. So to recap, we saw some big wins in the power sector, some mixed news for pharma, and some challenges in the auto and coal industries. What do you think this all means for tomorrow's market?
Well, it highlights the importance of diversification and staying nimble in a changing market. Will UltraTech's move shake up the cables and wires market? Can Coal India pull off that production miracle in March? These are the questions we'll be watching.
Absolutely. If you liked today's episode, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends.
Yeah, give us some love by subscribing and sharing. We'll be back tomorrow with more updates.
Thanks for tuning in.
See you next time.